Good morning. Nuts, you feeling good?
Yeah, I think so. You know,
Good, good.
hey, but I am
Uh,
usually on the left, aren't I? I'm usually on the left. I'm feeling a little right side today. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm good.
all right.
I'm
You see,
good.
I got lag on my side. I have no idea. There we go. All right, now I see it. Yeah, I'm behind, man. I don't know what's up with my internet, but we'll give it a
Is
shot.
you have a
If I bail out, it's on you.
well, I can't do that again. And everybody knows I can't do that again. You know, hosting a reptile show when you don't really have any reptiles and you don't know that much about reptiles, it's a little daunting. It's a little
I
tough.
think I think it's high time you appreciate what I do around here, sir. There.
Yeah, but this is your
I know
world. Your
I'm being a total jerk, man. No, I
world.
really appreciate it. I had a blast at the show. Um, if I get nothing but the gold of calling you Armadillo Joe, it was completely worth it. Like, audience, if you didn't see it, you could go back and hear the story of why now and forever in the media world. I will, you got to have a good nickname
Well,
for your co-host. It will be Armadillo Joe. I'm thrilled by this. So it was worth it. Any pitfalls were outweighed by that result. I've not had my first sip of coffee yet, and I'm going to. I'm jealous. Here we go.
do it to it, laws. That's
Yeah.
that's a line from Heavyweights. Have you ever seen Heavyweights?
Don't even.
It's an
No, don't know it.
it's like a kids movie, but it has Ben Stiller in it, and it's about this group that goes to fat camp when they're teenagers.
I do
And
remember that now. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I
Keenan
remember it. Yeah.
Keenan Thompson's in it, I think, as
Yeah.
well.
So it got a like an Adam Sandler kind of feel to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
But yeah, I for some reason I have these quotes in my head from that movie, and "Do It to It" is one of those. Do it to it,
I
love.
gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway,
All
moving
of my
on.
quotes are all my quotes are from The Big Lebowski.
Big
Maybe a little bit from Shawshank
Lebowski.
Redemption, but otherwise that's
Big
about it. Yeah.
Lebowski.
My man, there he is, the dude. This unchecked aggression will not stand, man.
There
Joe,
he
tell me
is.
about the one thing I gotta know from this past week from you, man.
The one thing you got to know is I already brought it up. Is doing the show was without you. I mean, let's face it, you're the draw. Okay,
I don't
all
know.
right. It's not
People get
me.
enough
Not
of
me.
me. You're
Not
but
me.
like people
You're the
might come to the
draw. People know people. Yeah, I mean, everybody comes in. They like Adam. They want to know about proper royals, everything. And
it might be
then
the cake, but you're the icing, man. That cake is boring. You gotta have it's like a waffle with no syrup. What are you gonna do with a waffle, man? You gotta have the syrup and the icing.
And I can even tell, like, I'm moving my head. Look at how all of the movements. I'm relaxed. I feel more relaxed, and it's the weight of the
That's
show is
relaxed.
not on my shoulders. See,
All
and
right, all
so,
right.
but I mean, Chris was fantastic every
Yeah.
time. He jumped right in there. He was great. It was so fun talking to him. But yeah, it was more stressful and probably because. I didn't. I- I want these. I want you all to be my people, but they're your people. And I'm just kind of an outsider, kind of looking in. Still, I feel, and so to
Interloper. Yeah.
actually host is felt a little daunting. Definitely.
I have a cure for all of this, Joe.
What's that?
A ball python. Just get you one. You'll be one of us. You jump bump, you'll be knighted. We'll do a little I'll get a snake hook and I'll touch both of your shoulders while you're, scrubbing a tub or something.
What would be a good first ball python for me to get?
A male banana ball python. Run you about $100 and you'll be in the club.
And when I go away for 2 weeks at a time, what needs to happen?
Yeah, someone needs to bring in some fresh water, and I believe you have a family. I don't want to get too specific on family. I believe you have somebody relatively close by that has a little bit of snake experience that could come bring a little bit of water for the snake.
Yeah.
And maybe do a little spot clean for you while you're out.
Well, I think that would. Yeah,
I know you got to run it up by the home front. There could be a little domestic dispute on the topic, but just
yeah, it's not something you call up the neighbors and go, hey, while I'm away, could you?
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I know.
Is what happened with you and the neighbors? No.
Oh, nothing, but God forbid my neighbors find out I got thousands of rodents in the little shed adjacent to their property. That's not going to go over well whatsoever. No, my neighbors have no idea, man. Every now and again, I just open the windows purposefully and bang out some serious guitar chords just so that they think that like I'm just full-time musician. That's just what so they see the cases all the time. Like speaking of today's traveling circus, like the snake cases look like music cases. Like if they ever ask, they're like, what do you do? Where do you go on these weekends? I'm like, oh, after the Rothschild Civic Center, got a gig.
Perfect cover. It's a perfect cover. And there's another, that's one of you're a synthesizer. That's what you do, Adam.
That's a liar is what that is.
Synthesize. No, you're bringing together all of these different things that
That's true. That's
into
true. I do like that.
and and now what of snakes are you bringing to the service industry? What of snakes are you bringing to the music industry? Is there reciprocity there?
No, no, none. I have yet to know. I've tried. I told the story before, but I have a buddy that managed to get Kevin Smith to do his intro on his social media stuff, and I was like, and he has a channel that's what would we say, a plant-based recreational / medicinal community.
Understood.
Yeah. And so Kevin Smith was a little bit of a celebrity in that scene, I think, for a little while, a representative perhaps of that scene. So I proceeded to reach out, and by reach out, I mean Instagram message every celebrity or rock and roll person that I've ever known to own a snake to see if they would do my intros. To which not only did I not get told no, I didn't get any response from about 20 different people. So I gave up on that after a little while.
Nothing.
So Joe, here's what you got to know from me, man. I've decided there's a quote from a notorious, I don't know. I was an English major for a little while before I failed at that and switched to history major. But there's a writer that I like called Eudora Welty, and she says something to the effect, paraphrasing, never shun inspiration or never judge or second guess where your inspiration comes from. Just roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what if I told you there's a dude on Instagram who has millions of views, who rides around on a little motorcycle scooter, and instead of a helmet, he has a microwave on his head. Yes, you've heard this correctly. He pulls up like an aggressive BMX rider, opens his microwave, spits out some real inspiring truths, slams the microwave shut, and zips off into the sunset on his motorcycle. And I'm in love with this dude. And like I said, as Eudora Welty would say, don't shun your inspiration, no matter where it comes from. So I would like to share with you. I think the man's handle, we're going to double check it. I believe the man's handle is Make the Hood Smile. So let's give this a shot. Here we go. Let me press play for you. I think it'll brighten everybody's day. Yeah, this is Make the Hood Smile. Here you go.
Just know you're going to go through some uncomfortable situations. Stop trying to dodge the process. because in the long run, it's gonna make you better. And don't forget that shit, you heard?
Is that not absolutely the one thing you had to know this week?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean,
Oh shoot, I started it over again. He's still yelling in the background at me. Hang on.
that's great.
He
What's
says,
his?
"Look, if-
What's his?
make the hood smile." All one word. And yeah, he says, look, if you're gonna go through change, if you're gonna make change, you're gonna go through some uncomfortable stuff. That's like my weekend in Wisconsin coming up, you know. Just, and then as he says, don't forget that stuff.
It is amazing.
Slams
Yeah,
the microwave shut.
Well, what I liked was that he didn't use his hand. He just kind of moved his head.
It's like those teenagers that flick their bangs, you know, except he does it with his whole microwave
door.
I will. This is where it gets weird, and you're gonna be like, you've watched this guy way too much. As he rides off, you could see that he took the time to go buy or steal or peel off a DOT safety sticker for the back of it. All helmets have a DOT, like a motorcycle helmet has a DOT approved safety sticker on the back of his microwave. He's got a DOT safety sticker on it, which is of course absolutely nonsense. I love the little details. Like you can't let the small things fall through the crack, man.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So what you're saying is don't shun the inspiration. This guy is inspiring to you.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about his inspiration that he has to actually
well,
go
I
and
mostly
do
was
this
talking about mine, but him having the inspiration to go, I'm going to get, he's got 89 million views on that video I just showed you. His inspiration to go, because he has to have a sidekick filming too. That's not a selfie being filmed. You know, he's got somebody working with him. So he convinced somebody, look, man, I'm going to stick my head in a microwave, zip up here on this little, scooter cycle and just hold tight. Let me just stick with me here.
Yeah. Like that's what's inspiring to me is that this guy decided to do this. And how many decisions do you have to make to actually get to that point where you're posting a video of yourself, what you want to say with the microwave on your head, like all of those decisions. And like, think about how careful you are about your brand, Adam.
Right.
Think about like, this is what I want to show about Proper Royals. And then
that's right.
This is his direction that he took. And he's like, this is what I want to show the world about me.
Well, and I also think of it is incredible. And all the steps you outlined, every one of those steps also was a perfect opportunity for him to go, nah, never mind, screw this. And he still didn't.
Right. And how many times have we done that? Everybody who's listening right now, how many times have you had an idea where you go, you get to one of those decisions, one of those questions, and you go, this isn't going to work. And I'm not really too sure that I want people to see me like this. I mean, what do his family and friends think of him? That's what I think. Like, what do he's got to have family and friends who are like, dude, that
let me
dude
tell
is
you,
crazy.
Right now they're into it because he's buying drinks, man. Look, I don't make a whole lot of money. You can make a little bit of money on Instagram. But if you got one video with 89 million views, you can make some serious jack on Instagram. And he's got tons of them, man.
All right.
Not to mention some really good vibes.
I got to come up with something. And I like that. It's like positive and like, hey.
Yeah. Making the hood smile, man. That's what's up. Yeah. So
that's a great one thing. I appreciate that one thing.
Well, you're welcome. On those same lines, I was trying to think if I should start this or not, but I think I could go down the path really, really fast because it was really effective. We would, the worst thing is, right, you get told, hey, we're going to have a creative session at work. We need to come up with new ideas of where we're going to go and what we're going to do, right? And inevitably somebody's got, let's put a steak on the menu. Let's bring in some more live music. Oh, let's do karaoke. That's a great one. Yeah, great. And I would invariably, I would stop the meeting and go, guys, I want you to throw anything out there. Like, this should be fun. What would be amazing? And I said, and then I would show my age and I would say, look, let's talk about the band AC/DC for a minute. They have a song called For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. And somewhere in the middle of there, where Angus would normally, that's their lead guitarist, where Angus would normally take a ripping guitar solo, they said, you know what? Let's fire a cannon. And the rest, somebody said that at a meeting, and the rest of them eventually went, yeah, let's fire a cannon. And then Warner Brothers, who invested millions in the AC/DC, had to approve this because they're backing the band to put out the albums, went, yeah, let's put a cannon in the middle. That'll be cool. And it worked. It's an amazing song. It's iconic. And nowhere up front would it make sense to go, no, you're going to stop the music and fire a cannon? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And it worked. So I love like these creative sessions. And I could tell the same story about the dude on the microwave or with a microwave on his head on a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's about surrounding yourself with people who are good collaborators.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. There's somebody who that guy has convinced to stand on the side of the road and film him doing that, or tape him, film him, record him doing that.
Right.
And that guy was like, yeah, let's fire a cannon. I mean,
right.
that's
he's the cannon
analogy,
firer, right?
Yeah, right. He's going, yeah, let's fire the cannon. That's incredible. I mean, that's like the older I get, right? I think about what I'm going to do next, and all of that stuff. You guys know me. I am a serial learner. I love trying new things and switching my life up professionally and all of that stuff. The older I get, though, it's more about not the content of what I'm doing, but the people I'm doing it with. If I can collaborate with people that I just love collaborating with, that makes me happier than other stuff. Now I'm staring down the barrel of a long day of accounting crap, which I get upset about, but at least I'm doing it with people that I really care about.
There you go. And that's a cool. Yeah. In the corporate setting, we did always talk about environment and culture and those sorts of things, which sounded like corporate doublespeak, but when they're applied properly, they really do make a difference, man. Yeah, definitely.
Actually, I used to do this thing about organization culture. It was called an inventory. It was like a survey that we would do and all of that stuff. Sometimes that stuff works, but I liked the model, and I applied, like, there's 12 different cultural styles in this model. Mm-hmm. And I've used songs to represent each cultural style.
Oh, really? Could you give us an example of just one? I mean, I don't want to make the show about it. Could you give us an example, though?
Yeah. So there was one that was like, this culture is represented by people who keep their head down and they don't say anything, they don't speak up, and they just try and do their job. And if they were to speak up, then they would get like yelled at or something.
Sure.
So it's like kind of an aggressive, but it's like passive. Everybody's really passive. The Sound of Silence was the song I would use for that.
Did you do the Simon and Garfunkel one, or that?
Yeah,
there's like that. No, there's like that weird new cover. It's like a metal band that does like an acoustic. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it is pretty good. There's there was one that was like everybody's really desperate to be friends. That was called like an approval culture. Like everybody's looking for approval from each other. That was like we did. I used "I Want You to Want Me," like that. Desperation.
That's such a good guilty pleasure song, man. God, Cheap Trick is such a good band. Underrated, man. I love Cheap Trick.
We had two Stone songs.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and
speaking
we
of bands I love. Yeah.
and then we had 2 Beatles songs to kinda
Okay.
yeah. So, the Stone songs was, Under My Thumb, that was the power style.
Oh
Under
wow.
My
Yeah. I love that song. And it's it's funny because it kind of sounds like a pretty song. And when you listen to it, you're like, oh, this is
yeah.
this is
It's
some
like
serious stuff going on here. Yeah.
political, like, "I'm gonna get you, you're gonna get me," that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
And
and
then
I've succeeded because I did get you because I am the one now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Baby's thumb.
exactly.
She's under my thumb. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then the
Social
last one
discor-
was perfectionism. That was satisfaction. I can't
Okay.
get no satisfaction because everybody gets burned out in a perfectionist. So
Yeah.
all of these. So I kind of use this idea that a culture is like a song because a culture is hard to define. So like it's more of like a feeling when you come into work, and those kinds of songs evoke those feelings. So people like that.
Yeah. Well, it's always nice to have something relatable rather than just getting a academic lecture from a
Yeah.
consultant, right? Yeah, you got to break
Definitely.
those the ice. Yeah. Hey, speaking of collaborators, we should tell people about a couple of our good friends this morning. One being Chris at BNS Reptilia, who was awesome, huge help. Chris in the audience, big time help for flying in the co-pilot's chair last week. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate you, man. It's good to talk this week and catch up. And I think I don't know. He said he's mailed me something. I hope it's not a steaming bag of snake DNA, so we'll see. But that's tomorrow. So thanks, Chris, in advance. I'm looking forward to whatever's on. I think I am anyway. Maybe it's a big electronic middle finger pops out of the bag at me. We'll see. I don't know. Check out Cold Blooded Cafe. You're going to get 11% off of your order if you use the code proper11. I feed all my adults on frozen thawed rats, and I use Cold Blooded Cafe. I was a customer before I ever went into business with them, which is why I like advertising for them. It makes it so easy. And they've been really good to me almost a year and a half now. Not almost. This is the year. May is a year and a half that we've been partners in business, and I'm so thankful for them. Check them out. Use the promo code proper11. If you get to $250, use the promo code FS250. You can use both codes. You're going to get free shipping and 11% off your order. 11% off of $250 is pretty good. Little bit of change. So check it out. Also, Keith out in Fresno, California at Creative Genetics. Keith is working with the stranger gene in a variety of recessive projects, pieds, clowns, axanthics, in single, double, and triple hets. Check him out on Morph Market. Keith and I will have baby hatchlings here pronto, very, very soon, coming up from a clown axanthic double visual male project that we worked. So that male went to a variety of my females, and a lot of those babies will be available coming up soon. So thank you all very much. If you're new to the show, you haven't been here before, my name's Adam. I have reptiles. That is Armadillo Joe. He does not have reptiles. And that's really all you need to know about the whole show is us figuring out life together as two friends, one with reptiles, one without. So stick around if you haven't been here before.
But I don't have armadillos either.
No, matter of fact, you have -1 armadillo. Where there was once an armadillo, there is no longer an armadillo.
Better believe it. Stay
That's
off my
right.
lawn.
Get on. Man, yeah, Sam. Hey, thanks, Sam. Sam used both those codes a few weeks ago, saved a bundle. Fantastic, man. I hope you're happy with the rats as well. I've always been pleased with them. Joe, you said on our show prep this week you got traveling on your mind. What do you got going on, man?
I do. So tomorrow I got a 2-week trip that's coming up, and we're starting tomorrow.
Wow.
So and it's a crazy trip. It seems that every time we do this, we have a blast. But at the end of it, we're kind of like, that was a little crazy. We should just go to one place.
Do I remember correctly last year, like on the last day or two, you're like, you know what? Screw it. Get more coffee. We're driving home. We are done with this.
We did
trip.
that.
Is that correct?
We had a place booked. We were driving back to Florida, and we had a place booked like halfway between where we were going.
Well, and where you were was like Michigan. This wasn't just like you were in Valdosta and you're like, yeah, let's get home tonight.
Yes, and we're doing that again, Michigan.
Yeah.
But this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're going tomorrow. My sister lives in Baltimore, so we're driving to Baltimore, and actually, we've decided to send the kids on a flight to Baltimore. So
Oh, only to
we're
Baltimore. Why not just straight to, Detroit or Traverse City or wherever?
well. Listen, this is what we're gonna do. My sister lives in Baltimore. We're gonna stay one night in Baltimore. Then we go to Pennsylvania, where I'm from. So Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, right?
Sure.
And then and then my in-laws, Chelsea's parents, are coming from Michigan to Pennsylvania, right? And then Raleigh, my stepdaughter's boyfriend, is flying. He's the one with the snake.
Right.
Uh, he's flying into Pennsylvania. So the seven of us are converging on Pennsylvania for a couple of days until Tuesday evening when we fly out of Newark and we fly to London. And we'll be in London for a few days. And
That's a hard right. I thought from there you were probably heading to Michigan. I did not see London coming. Okay.
no. So London, we're there for a few days and we've got a whole bunch of stuff planned. Then we get on a train and we go to Paris. And we'll be in Paris for a few days.
Wow. Okay.
Then we get on another train and we go back to London. We spend one more night in London. We fly back to Newark. And that's going to be then we get into Pennsylvania. We said one night in Pennsylvania. Then we drive out to Michigan.
Oh my God, you're gonna die. You're gonna be done.
There for 2 days to 3 nights, maybe, and then we drive from Michigan to Florida.
You're driving to Michigan for 2 nights? I wouldn't go to Michigan for less than a week. Holy cow. All right.
Come on, man.
Really?
Come on. Why? You don't like Michigan? What's wrong with the
No, I would love Michigan. That's like driving. I drove to Maine last summer. I wasn't gonna stay for 2. I wasn't gonna be like, nice to see you. I'm out of here.
Listen, you do this all the time. You're driving 8 hours, 9 hours. So I thought, let's talk about this because you're right. It's a circus. It's a crazy circus. And especially when you have other people involved. If it was just me and Chelsea, we roll with the punches. We do whatever, it's something, a problem comes up. But
let me get this right. Are 7 of you all going to London or 4 of you are going to London?
Seven of us are going to London.
You are going to need either, what did I refer to it earlier? A plant-based medicinal solution or Ambien, or you are going to get so drunk on gin or whatever you choose. I just think in the London theme. Trying to get 7 people on the same page. And then you stuff each other in a airplane for what's that, a 6-hour flight?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. And it's overnight from Newark. So we're gonna get there and we're all gonna be tired. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be a wild, wild trip. I mean, I'm super excited actually.
Yeah.
Because I like the circus. I do like the circus. Now there's some relationships among those 7 people there where you go, okay, how is this going to be okay? Is it going to be all right? Is everybody going to get along? That kind of thing. But we put this together a long time ago, and we started to feel, Chelsea started to feel like, like what you're talking about, like getting everybody on the same page. And so she put together like this incredible itinerary of options for each day. So, and it's options for each day. There's a few things that are scheduled, but it's options for each day. And so we're hoping with that amount of detail, everything's going to be okay.
So strategically, I actually and this is going to be there'll be a day that this is a fault. I actually like operating as a lone wolf. Driving, it's great to have a sidekick driver, but what if I get stuck with the wrong person in the passenger seat for 8 hours, or I'm rooming with somebody and I can't get any sleep, and then that deteriorates the relationship. So I actually like operating as a lone wolf, and mentally I operate so great. so much better with less stress. Now I'm less productive because I sort of, contrary to the, this show where there's the two of us collaborating, I generally like to keep things sort of in house. And by that, I mean, in my own head. It's one of the reasons why actually Chris at BNS Reptilia. And I really enjoy Chris because we can room together. We can vend together. We actually haven't traveled much together, but we end up at destinations together. So it's hard for me to put my finger on it. He just doesn't make me insane. And I don't know if that's a lot of effort on his part or none. I hope it's not a lot. I like to think it's a natural fit, but for all I know, he's handling me with kid gloves the whole way. I hope that's not the case, but maybe. So, but trying to get, like, I've learned that in bands, trying to get 4 people on the same page that you're going to travel with for 2 weeks. Oh, it's a nightmare. Just 2 of us. I like traveling with duos, and that's hard enough. So, like, those are the things that immediately come to my mind. Now, I've done these family trips. I did one to Hawaii one time. My secret is that I just like to wander off. If I feel the anxiety coming, hey, I got my cell phone. I'll meet you guys back. And I go wander and I explore. So in Lahaina, I was so jet lagged. I'd wake up at like 3 a.m. and I'd go walk the town while it was empty. And I noticed that about 4 a.m., the local fishermen start delivering fresh fish to the restaurants, and the coffee makers start to open, and the shop owners and the town starts to come to life. And I wouldn't say I made friends with these people because there's no lasting relationships. I was a tourist that was there for 10 days, but I would get to talking with the guys, and it would remind me of like the chef, the cooks at the back dock of a restaurant, whether we're having coffee in the morning or smoking a cigarette or whatever. And yeah, I would just go explore and get a real feel versus like, hey, here's the tourist hula hoop show or whatever it is, or the tiki show, or, this is no texture to that. Right, that's totally theater versus like, all right, how the hell does this island really work? And so I like that. But it like shows, like traveling for shows for snake shows, it's all business, man. It's get there, it's do the show, it's pack up, it's get home. That's it, man.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like with so many different legs of this trip, you're thinking about all of I'm thinking about all of the different places that I'm going to be, and packing is a kind of I gotta really think about those different places and what I'm gonna bring to each of those places. And I would imagine, like, do you ever have do you work with a checklist when you go and do these things, or do you just go? And have you ever been on the road and go, I forgot the het clown pied stranger gene snake or whatever?
Okay, so on personal vacations, no. Like Kelly will pack for like a week ahead of time, get stressed out. In my opinion, enjoy the stress. Enjoy letting everybody around know how stressful this amazing trip is going to be. And then I'm like the guy the night before. I'm like 4 pairs of jeans, flip-flops, Keens, socks, t-shirt, and my vest and a hat. I'm out. That's it.
I'm waiting for things to arrive from Amazon today.
Okay, so you've gone the Kelly route. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Like, I've waited until I haven't packed anything, and Chelsea's very much similar to Kelly. Just like I'm so stressed, and she's so stressed, and inevitably, and I'm not speaking out of turn or behind her back. I make fun of her for this, right to her face.
Right.
Is
square
she gets to the location, and inevitably what she has packed is completely wrong. Like we go to like Michigan, she's got no closed-toed shoes and it's cold and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like, well, and that's the thing. So, because Kelly will be like, well, we need to pack extra. What if we lose a toothbrush in Ann Arbor? I'm like, I don't know. They sell toothbrushes there. I'll go get one. I'm not going to think of the 99 what ifs now, but that's personal. On the business trip, and actually it's one of the pieces of content on my Patreon. I use a show checklist every time. And somebody that I shared it with one time was like, thanks, this is a really thorough checklist. And one of the items on the checklist is actually snakes, because
just snakes check mark, or like the specific snakes that you are.
Well, actually, on that checklist, it's just snakes, but then I do make a show list every time as well. And that's actually an old habit from Florida, because FWC requires, when you're vending, that you have an inventory list with you every time. For what? I don't know. But I got in the habit of making an inventory list, but I found that I could hand that to customers sometimes. So I'll actually make 10 or 12 copies of it. So it helps. It becomes my packing list. It becomes my reference list. If I happen to make a mistake on an animal and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the right label, I could double check it, and I can hand it to people and say, hey, here's a list. If you don't buy something today, these will still be available as well. So I do use 2 checklists in that way. But somebody was joking. They're like, Adam, how would you ever forget the animals? And I'm like, well, it's a lot of stuff to pack, and the animals are the very last thing. And I'm doing it some mornings at 4:30 in the morning when I'm not at my most alert. You feel like you're ready. You don't want to be down the road and be like, I don't have my cases of animals.
Yeah. I mean, that's never happened though, because you have the checklist.
Because I have the checklist. There have been mornings where I'm like, all right, I'm ready. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. But, but I also, it's not so much that I forget stuff. It's that a checklist makes me efficient. I can go from asleep to out the door with my checklist and packing sort of ritual in 30 minutes. If I don't have my checklist, I'm sitting there going, what have I forgot? What have I done this? Yeah, Chris has a great point. What if you forget your keys to your cases? Yeah. So you have everything.
Hey,
you show it. There you go. And now Ozark Mountains jumped in there and so that's actually a funny story. I wouldn't say every show, but many shows, there'll be a breeder that's like, man, I forgot my keys. Don't tell anybody. Every breeder in the show has the same key for their display case. You just hand them. I got 9 sets of them hanging on my refrigerator right over here on a metal loop.
Like, we have 200 to 300 views every week for don't tell anybody.
Oh, that's a joke. Everybody knows this, Joe. Yeah, it's everybody.
Oh, really? Everybody knows this. Okay.
Well, that's why it's a joke. So it's weird. These 2-day shows, the promoters are like, you have to cover your animals. We can't leave anything displayed, which I have no idea why. But the security is a total, like, unless they actually have security in the building overnight, which some 2-day shows do, it's a total joke. Like, it's down to the total goodwill of the vendors not to rob each other, which, by the way, I've never been robbed at a show. No, I don't. A lot of people vend with deli cups that somebody could grab. Like, you couldn't grab my stuff. But yeah, for a long time, I used to pack up my cases and then I would run cable and padlocks through my cases so that I couldn't get robbed. And then I was like, if somebody's going to rob somebody, they're not going to rob me. They're going to rob the guy with the best stuff in the room. So it's like the old, you don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than you if a bear is chasing us.
Right. That's the reason I don't lock my 2008 Hyundai Tucson up.
What's more expensive in the Hyundai than a broken window, right? Right. Don't break the window. Take anything inside that you want. Yeah, I had some Mazdas that I was like, just rob me. It's going to be way cheaper than replacing anything on the car.
Now we are doing business and personal and stuff like that, but there's something about traveling. I really love traveling with minimal stuff.
I do too.
So really, when I get to a point, and actually I do really love the night before we leave. It's a little crazy, but like, we order pizza and we're like, okay, and then we got to make sure everything. It's like there's a lot of anticipation and everything.
Yeah, that nervous anticipation. Yeah,
I get to a point where I'm just like, what do I essentially need? I need the clothes on my back. I need my wallet and my phone.
Right. Yeah.
That's like, I love like thinking like that, to go, if I just have those things, I can do whatever.
I'm going to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
how
I
I
can
am.
go if I forget a toothbrush or something. Yes,
Yeah.
I can. If I forget underwear, which I have before, I can go somewhere and get some underwear.
Or
Like
or not have them at all and really
or
enjoy
not.
yourself. Yeah, just cut loose,
Yes,
Go
really
Cosmo,
enjoy yourself.
go Cosmo Kramer, it could be great.
I'm out there and
I'm
I'm
out there,
loving
Jerry.
every.
Yeah. Well, so when your timing was apropos when we talked about going to different places, I ran into a situation that has been I'm trying to I like good words, and I'm trying to think. Maybe I would call this a boondoggle. The boondoggle when there's a little problem comes up, an issue. I don't
A
know.
boondoggle. Yeah, I'm looking at graceful pythons.
Yeah, well, I did get the Kevin vibes. Yeah, like Kevin. Yeah. So there's a show on Sunday, which I didn't in Wisconsin, and it's I would call it rural. It's not rural like cornfields, but it ain't far from the cornfields. This is not one of my anchor shows. This is a sort of a tertiary show that I would do because I don't really have an excuse not to be vending if I can vend. And, I could still make reasonable money and I certainly won't lose, I don't think. So great. Builds a brand, makes money, all good things. It's Memorial Day weekend, which flew under my radar. I might have chosen to go to a lake like every other Minnesotan's going to do. But no, I decided I'll drive 3 hours each way. It's my longest drive without a hotel too. It's a little bit north of more than 3 hours each way. Very long day. This will be a 4 a.m. wake up and I won't get home till about 8 o'clock that night. So it's a very long day. It's on Sunday. On Monday, past Monday, I get an email from the promoter. It says, "Hi, we were contacted by the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture. There's a longstanding law that's been on the books. It's rarely been enforced, but we've been informed that it will now be enforced, and it is our duty to inform you of this. If you are an out-of-state vendor, not in-state, out-of-state vendor, you will need a certificate of veterinary inspection, which is an official document from the USDA, and you will need an import permit to import your animals into Wisconsin, and Department of Agriculture will be here to inspect these things."
Wow.
This law. So first there's part of a little circus. I've got 6 days to figure out, not only am I going to do this show, but is this going to be a ripple effect through every Wisconsin show that I do? I do about 8 to 10 Wisconsin shows a year. Some of them are the tertiary ones. Some of them are top tier.
Yeah.
As much as I looked at the alternatives going down to Nebraska, Kansas City, there's a reason that I do the Wisconsin shows, is because financially it makes sense. I'm home in one day. I don't have to get a hotel. When you factor those things in, plus a 3-hour drive turns into a 6-hour or an 8-hour each way, I need to be doing $1,000 better per show to make going to Kansas City or Nebraska worthwhile. And that's just to break even. That's not to make profit. That's just $1,000 to fund it.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're not my best shows, Wisconsin is an important part of what I'm doing. So yeah, Troy nailed it. I'm technically supposed to have a CVI for every animal that I bring into Wisconsin. I'll tell you, the going rate at the local vets that I called was $72.50 per animal. Okay. Yeah, let me tell you. Okay, throw that idea in the trash because that ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And just to let everybody know, I have solved the problem, so I don't need 19 solutions, which I would be interested in, but we don't have to solve it. The outcome is that I will be vending this weekend. Mm-hmm. But I talked to remote vets. I talked to local vets. Remote vets have a concern that it doesn't sort of pass the smell test. If a vet is in Arizona and says that they remotely inspected my facility via video and they send me a CVI, I'm in Minnesota and a Wisconsin person's inspecting it and it's in Arizona, all of this stuff doesn't match up. They could be putting their own USDA certification at risk and in jeopardy. That's not what we want to do to people. However, in life, the good stoic in me took over and said, look, there's roadblocks, and people that figure it out are the ones that make money. The other ones stay at home and get out of the way. I got to be the one that figures it out and makes money. So I got looking. The law says you have to be based in Wisconsin. Well, I've started a business in North Carolina. I started a business in Florida. I started a business in Minnesota. I'm proud to announce that after the show today, I'll be opening the regional offices of Proper Royals in Hudson, Wisconsin. It is cheaper to start a new business in a new state and get a physical address than it is to get these stupid processes that they put us through for the. I watch my mouth on this show, but I got a good mouth on me. To go through this. And that's where the traveling circus came into the headline. And it's going to take, to meet the letter of the law, I will have to have a Wisconsin stock and a Minnesota stock. And I'll figure that out through some relationships, because I do a lot of business in Wisconsin and I do a lot of business in Minnesota. And I want to be on the up and up with these laws, officer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So,
yeah. Oh, Keith, I thought you were going to become a vet. Yeah. It'd be almost cheaper to do that. Say, yeah, time to go to vet school, man.
So are you worried that this is not going to work?
So a little, yes and no. I can only be so transparent on this topic, but it's going to cost me about $100 to do all of what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a fairly low hurdle to get over. Mm-hmm. To bring it really into context, the shows in Minnesota that I really love, the promoter that do best for me, I think it's $110 per table, and I do those for 2 tables. So $220, right? Mm-hmm. These shows in Wisconsin, I pay $60 a table for, and I get 2 of those. So $100 to start my business in Wisconsin on top of the 120 only still puts me at the same price as the Minnesota shows that I enjoy and that I find value in doing. Mm-hmm. So financially it works. The other thing is, for $100, I'll gain some knowledge rather than hearing secondhand or being scared of this boogeyman. Companies have offices all over the place. They do this all the time. This is not a foreign idea. So it was looking for solutions, and again, putting on the stoic hat of, you can't get too down about any one thing. You got to figure it out. And to be honest, any massive success you have to treat the same way, because those are fleeting as well. All these outliers can't dictate what the center line of the business is, philosophically speaking. And they can influence your decisions, and you can learn from them, and you can apply that knowledge and data. But so for $100, I could go experience it. Say I get inspected and they go, this all sounds like BS. And I go, well, I'd like to understand why, because I've made an effort where other people might not. So I'm in your state. I'm paying taxes. The promoter is getting the revenue from me. They're paying taxes on what's going on here. This is how business is supposed to work. And you asked me for a solution, essentially, and I came up with one. So we'll see. I have a little bit of a fight in me, but honestly, the worst they could do is send me home, and then I won't come back to Wisconsin, and Wisconsin gets to keep my $100. And and then I'll close the regional offices, the Proper Royals regional offices in Hudson, Wisconsin.
Now, is there, like, you do an annual report for a business in Florida, is there like an annual report that you need to do in Wisconsin? And does that cost money? Is that something that you put into your business expenses?
it will be something I put into the business expenses. To be honest, I have no idea what it's going to take. I got my tax guy handles this stuff. He said, go get an address and I'll get you a business. I said, perfect. My man. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But that's part of where I say it really benefits people to do things on the up and up. I already pay taxes on the income. Okay, you need a little seal and a piece of paper. It's not really going to change my outcome. And I've got the tax business guy that kind of handles that stuff. I pay him to do my taxes, but then I pay a quarterly almost subscription model where when this stuff comes up, if it's just paperwork and it's within a couple hours, he just handles it for me. And then we also review my business plans through the year where he might be like last year, he said, hey, you need to go from a sole proprietor to an S corp. You're getting into the place where you need to change. I don't actually know what the hell any of that means. He's guiding me in the right way though.
Okay. Yeah. So I can tell you about what the difference is, but let's not go that way.
It's one of those things that it's like, it's done. It's good. I'm on I go kind of thing.
Let me ask you this, Wisconsin, there were other things that I wanted to talk about in traveling, because there is this app that we're using that seems to be incredible, and we're going to see how it works.
Okay.
But why now, Wisconsin? Why? There's a lot of state laws on the books that are not enforced, that are outdated, that haven't been repealed. Why now? Why is Wisconsin doing this now?
Great question. And if my solution seems flimsy, it's because I think the enforcement will be flimsy and fleeting. I think I need to get through 1, maybe 2 shows of this nonsense is really what I think.
All right.
It is somebody called to report something, and they were technically correct. And so the Department of Agriculture now is faced with, do we get exposed and this big hoopla come about? Or do we go enforce this law and reply, we're enforcing this, go on your merry way. And then it goes quiet again. So for example, when I got to Minnesota, the very first show I did, I got a notice from the promoter. You have to have your business license. You have to have your tax ID number. The state department of, whatever business will be there. And they're going to inspect you. Wow. Okay. That actually forced me. So in Florida, as a sole proprietor, you actually don't need a business license, as I understand it. I didn't. In Minnesota, you do. And so that, basically there was a loophole that if it was you got like 2 shows a year, you could do a garage sale and like a flea market, and they don't, you could be a hobbyist. So since it was my literal first show, I didn't have to do it, but I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and get legal and legitimate. But that was why. But I've never, ever been inspected ever again from that point forward. And now I've done, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 shows in Minnesota. So what I'm thinking is the resources it takes to enforce this stuff is very high. Also, a state inspector coming to a snake show on Sunday, a Memorial Day weekend, like, I don't know. It's a 50-50 toss up if I think that that'll happen or not, Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So I think I have to roll with these things, find a way to get legitimate. And again, if I have to be, then I will be, because I think it'll provide an opportunity because there will be vendors that throw in the towel and go, I'm not screwing with that. Yeah. Balls and Strikes is right. FWC is a law enforcement agency and they can arrest you. The good news is the Department of Agriculture cannot arrest me. They can cite me. They can fine me. They could kick me out. They can't take me to jail. It's not criminal. Okay. It's not a criminal enforcement agency.
Well, this is the difference between you and me too, is that I would get that email and I'd go, well, F off, Wisconsin. But what I like is that you rolled with it, which is what we started talking about when we started talking about taking trips in the beginning, is like,
Yeah.
how well can you roll with stuff? How
Right.
well if something pops up, how well can you innovate and come up with the solution? And this is a very innovative solution. Very innovative. I think.
Right. Yeah, I really had to step back and go, let's play. I love playing a game of if then in my mind. It's just a logical breakdown.
Yeah.
Let's take each sentence. If you are an out of state vendor, you have to do this, which by the way is stupid. Like there's some magical curtain of nefarious disease at the border that plagues Minnesota.
Minnesota's
Ball
got all the
pythons.
diseases.
Yeah,
The
but not
dirty
Wisconsin.
Minnesotans.
Yeah, give me and like none of those animals in Wisconsin have been inspected. They don't have a license in Wisconsin, so it's all BS anyway. Which once I believe something is BS, then I play BS. If I think it's legitimate, I'll actually put some extra effort. But yeah, it was if you're an out of state, well, what if I'm an in-state vendor? How much does it cost me to start a business?
Yeah.
I could get an address and it cost me a $50 piece of paperwork and I could just show my application that I've applied. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be a proud Hudsonite in the proud town of Wisconsin, or proud state of Wisconsin.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, and people, like you said, people do that stuff all the time to get around regulation. It's not even to get around regulation. It's to get into regular, right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
So anyway,
let's see. I'm excited to see what happens.
Well, yeah, I could have a good story next week. We'll see. Hopefully there's no story. And I feel bad because, and I did, for the record, I did speak to the promoter. I don't ever want to jeopardize. The promoters have really worked hard to build a great circuit there. I wouldn't want to jeopardize their show. If they're going to get shut down because of my shenanigans, I wouldn't go. I would just back out gracefully and figure out a different way. I'd pivot, and I still might. But they said, no, we're asked who are the out-of-state vendors, who are the in-state vendors. And if you are able to provide us with in-state information, then we'll make sure they know that you're an in-state vendor. I said, okay, great.
That's great. That's awesome. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. So there is one thing I do want to bring up with this trip that I'm taking starting tomorrow is we're using this app called Wanderlog. Has anybody ever heard of one? Have you heard of Wanderlog?
I haven't, but I'm intrigued by it. And I wanted to ask, in the midst of you talking about this, you are going to be traveling. I think I counted 3 countries, separate states. While it might not be as egregious as some of what I'm talking about, you're going to encounter different laws and things along the way. The variety of substances I thought you might need to survive this trip. You're going to need to keep an eye on what's legal where and what you can have with you as you travel.
Yeah. So
for example,
we've done some research about that we didn't realize we needed a note from our doctor for any prescription medication to go into the UK.
Isn't a prescription a note from your doctor?
Yeah, but like I have an inhaler that I just throw out the box.
That seems like a Larry Day, like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode that you're going to get detained for your inhaler. Like of all the things you can, it's my prescription. It's an inhaler. You think I do this for fun? you throw the inhaler at the customs guy's forehead or whatever.
Balls and strikes. That's a good question. Yeah, and so I just heard the new Chat GPT release has the best translator. So
wow.
Before we get into France, I gotta check that out and see how it works. Yeah.
A topic for another show.
Yeah,
I seem to have accumulated of a few deaf customers. Talk about needing technology to communicate.
Oh, cool.
Go on.
Cool.
Like I say, we'll talk
That's
about
awesome.
that in another show. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to show this thing. Let me see if I can share the screen. Screen share. Okay. Share screen. Yeah, this one. Share. And then, no, this Wanderlog here. Yeah, this is the one. It's not working.
Oh,
But
it's like a phone-based app or whatever.
yeah, it is a phone-based app. But I'm just very impressed by
So
this thing.
Tell me
This
about
thing.
what you like about it. What are the features? What do you dig on it?
So this is so you see this is our trip here. So what you can do is you can put everything on a map. So if when we go over here, we've put all of our places of interest on a map, and so when we get it, like we put our lodging, our food places. So what you can do is like if you put everything on a map, you can go if you're in this area, you can go okay, we're hungry. Where do you want to go? And then you can go in there, but you have all of these places to visit in London. You can make all of these lists, secret bars, of course, theaters.
Secret
We're going
bars,
to see
yeah.
a few places, but then you can do itineraries, like days with itineraries here, where you can construct days, and then you can share this itinerary with everybody in your crew. So this is where we're going to be. This area is where we're going to be. We have a hop on, hop off bus or whatever. It's just a really, really cool site that I had an idea to create this about 10 years ago, and I didn't follow my inspiration.
I'm telling you, man.
I
Yeah,
shunned my
somebody,
inspiration.
a computer developer told me one time, ideas are nonsense, for lack of a better word. It's the people that implement it. He goes, there's not the, he goes, I don't care how proprietary somebody tells me an idea is. If they're not going to bring it to life and it's a great idea, I'm bringing it to life.
Exactly. So I just wanted to share that. I think I'm excited about doing this. We've done a lot of planning, and we'll see. I got to figure out if I'm going to be here next week too. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, I would appreciate a little heads up on that. But hey, if you want to broadcast live from Paris, man, bring it, dude. That'd be cool.
I'll try.
I gotta say, an app like that brings me a little bit of anxiety because if say Kelly had planned that and I wandered off to a different bar other than what was on the app, and I was to be unfound, there would be a sentence spoken to me somewhere along the way of it. You have the app, Adam. These are where you should have been. Because that happens with our calendar a lot. She's like, what's on our calendar? Do you know how many days are on a calendar? There's 365 days on a calendar. I can't keep up with all of that, man. I need to know what's the target right in front of me is what I'm talking about, you know? All cynicism aside, man, that's an incredible trip. That is super cool. I'm absolutely jealous. I don't know if I would go with the 7 of you, but I would go with the 2 of you all too. I would be a third wheel on that trip, or drag Kelly along as well.
It would definitely be a different kind of trip. We'd be doing different things if it was just Chelsea and me. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see the kids just explore.
I was going to say, the family times, as cynical as I could be, those family times are really, really special. And it's amazing that you're able to do that. And I'm pumped for you guys. I can't wait to hear about it. That's going to be really cool. When do you depart tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning. Yeah.
The pizza's tonight, huh?
Pizza is tonight.
Wow. What do the kids say? Only one sleep until you go?
Yeah. They don't say that, but yeah, I've heard that.
Not your kids, the kids in the world, the little kids. Yeah. The world kids. Yeah. Troy knows what I'm talking about. It's on the calendar. Yeah, I know. I got to take a picture of this calendar. Really quickly, there's 12 squares on a calendar. You got a 3 by a 4, and most sane people in the world would start top left January, February, March, April, right? This is how this world works. Our calendar starts December, then January, then no wonder I can't follow the the calendar, man.
That's messed up. It's like those calendars that you encounter that start on Monday.
That makes sense to me.
The
No?
week starts on Monday. No,
Yeah.
it's the
No?
week starts on Sunday. Sunday to Saturday is a week. Let's not move a
Saturday?
day over.
Monday to
Sunday's-
Sunday.
Get out of here. Get
All
out
right.
of here.
Yeah. Well,
I just made that mistake, actually. I scheduled something that on one of those calendars that started on a Monday, and I was like, oh, it's the third day. Okay, it's going to be. And I messed up. Anyway,
yeah.
have a great week, everybody. This is awesome. Thanks. I'm going to have a great Thursday.
If anybody listening gets a random call from Rothschild, Wisconsin this weekend, please answer. I might need to get bailed out. I might be the one call that I get from what do you call it? The pokey, the slammer. They're gonna go. But otherwise, I invite everybody to come visit the regional offices of Proper Royals, probably secondarily based in Hudson, Wisconsin, as of about noon today. And we look forward to seeing you at the facility.
Congratulations on your expansion. Your business is growing.
It's going to be beautiful. You know what? On Instagram today, I'll post a picture of the new facility. I want, it's going to be pretty cool.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks, everyone. You going to hit the button or I'm going to hit the button, Joe? I'll hit it. See you, everybody.
You